personality in disguise. Put your fist up in the skies.
Codependency was the effect of a society that has been molded in war, oppression, leading to narcissism as a protective barrier many of us have used or have experienced being on the other end of narcissism, and or both, because everything is everything. You may not have all 9 main narcissistic points, but you better believe, being in a narcissistic society, that 3D matrix program has touched us all in one way or another. Today, there is a full moon in Libra. This is April 2023. Soon we'll have a Aries solar eclipse coming up as well, and this is really centering our mind around who we are, who we think we are, and how responsible we are for who we are becoming, who we desire to be. Many of us lose ourselves trying to navigate the world, and that's understandable, and it's bound to happen. But you don't have to stay lost. You can find your true self again and again and again. This is a journey. Many of us have experienced as children feeling responsible for the things that happen in our household, feeling responsible for the things that happen in our parents' relationships, in our guardians' relationships. As children, developing an ego, we had no idea that some of the things that take place actually had nothing to do with us. We felt like everything was centered around us. That's the mind of a child. And it's not wrong, you know. But in order for us to continue to evolve and grow, one of the main things that is holding a lot of us back is realizing we are no longer responsible for anyone else's emotions. We are only responsible for our own. We are responsible for the way we show up. We are responsible for the way we show out. We are responsible for the way we respond to others, but we're not responsible for others' emotions. Breaking these codes of codependency first requires being responsible for you in every aspect of you, no matter how ugly, how beautiful, how good, how bad it seems. All of those words, ugly, beautiful, good, bad, are representations of duality, where there's only two sides of something, and that's black and white thinking. And whenever black and white thinking becomes the filter that we're processing information through, we're being in a war battle stance formation. So it's something has to either be right or wrong. Either I'm right or you're wrong. This 3D thinking is characterized by some personality disorders such as BPD, borderline personality disorder, where there's a difficulty in seeing any other way except for the black and white perceptions of things. I either love you, you're my favorite person, or I can't stand you and you're a threat. And so this can be a characteristic seen in many other psychological diagnosis, personality disorders, developmental disorders such as autism, and also we can just see that as someone who has dealt with trauma, and maybe you have some complex PTSD symptoms. So this is more so the personal development side of the aspect of this that I'm sharing with you now. However, all of this is created by trauma. And if you have difficulty with seeing the way other people treat you as being a issue that they have internally, you're gonna perceive it to be a personal attack. This is the wounded inner child's way of perceiving things. This can also be summed up as the 3D, which is only 3 dimensions of perceiving information. The 3D world was just cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. And it was like nothing in between can happen different. But coming into 4th dimensional consciousness, we're beginning to see other sides to things. And acknowledging and accepting that you are a multi-dimensional person. You are a soul who isn't characterized by your mind, by your body, how much money you make, where you live. None of these things are who we actually are. It's just a part of the program we're in of having this human experience. What happens is the triggers that upset us oftentimes are connected to our childhood conditioning. So we tend to try to protect ourselves from being abandoned, hurt, and rejected by taking things personally. Because once you take it personal, now you can justify some form of angry, retribution, revenge, some form of anger that's going to show up as a result of being personally attacked. You could raise your voice, cut them off, stop talking to them completely, just not acknowledging the fact that maybe they're going through something and maybe they can't put words to what they're going through, because a lot of us weren't allowed to express how we felt freely as children, and maybe going through their own inner child transformations. You just so happen to have been there. And maybe some of what happened was a projection, but it wasn't a personal attack on you. It was the pain that they were feeling being projected out. 5-dimensional perceptions require you to see the bigger picture, to see that conflicts aren't just about you. Even when somebody hurts you over and over and over again, most likely it's not really being directed at you. But if you're part of the story, if you don't enforce healthy boundaries, if you tend to be loosey-goosey when people cross those boundaries and you don't say to them, look, it's a boundary that I have shared with you to not yell at me, no matter what's going on with you. Yelling at me is unacceptable. And there will be repercussions of you doing this, because I'm not going to feel safe around you if you yell at me. So I will change our relationship dynamic to take care of myself in case that you cross this boundary. That's an example of enforcing a boundary. So enforcing boundaries protect us so that we can move away from taking things personal and then hurting each other. This is the trauma reenactments I've been talking about. Many of us, our relationships are not healthy because we didn't know how to identify where we needed boundaries. And we had difficulty identifying the difference between somebody who is re-experiencing their trauma and are hurting others because they're re-experiencing their unprocessed trauma versus somebody who just lives to attack you every day. Especially dealing with narcissistic relationships. You can get stuck in perceiving anything negative that happens in your environment is directed to you. And sadly, this is one of the things that is so far from the truth. Whoever triggers you the most can become such an opportunity for you to transcend your own personal trauma. Fourth dimensional perceptions allow you to see that you have other choices, that there are higher roads that you can take when these situations occur. On the 5D earth, we can't take this baggage with us there. For those of us who want to continue on this journey, you are being shaken and knocked over, and it feels like it's personal, but it's not. It's to help you see that some of the baggage that you are still carrying is keeping you away from that which your heart truly desires and that which you truly deserve. Sometimes the three-dimensional way of dealing with things shows up because it's the baseline way of responding. But by using the strategies I share, like PRP, the positive reframe pivot, you're allowing your awareness to expand. And anytime your awareness expands, you will find new paths and new ways of dealing with situations that are going to reflect more of the person that you are intentionally and deliberately becoming. I'm going to share just a tidbit that I feel would give a great visual for what's happening with us with the 3D, 4D, 5D consciousness and the way it shows up in day-to-day life. Let's say that taking things personal was the only way you were able to get enough courage to defend yourself throughout childhood and up to being an adult as well. Because oftentimes we attract people into our lives who have a similar dynamic as those who were participants in our trauma. Even in relationships, we marry our fathers, we marry our mothers, we get in relationships with people that have similar traits as them, and unconsciously this happens. As we're leaving the 3D behind, we're becoming more conscious so that we don't have to relive trauma in an unnecessary manner. So as we are being activated now, the old coping tools are like these outdated beliefs, expired habits. They worked well to get you here, but they will not take you on a higher road to becoming your I divine self, the higher self. If you try to hold on to those 3D perceptions, coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, passive aggressiveness, not being willing to open up and be vulnerable, not being willing to share your feelings, and there is a certain way that you do this. You don't just open up and be vulnerable to anybody, of course, but with people that care about you, who may have their own traumas and they may just be having a difficult time right now, but people that you know deep inside care for you, practicing being vulnerable with them. These things pull you out of the 3D matrix. So we can react in a way that is going to fortify the 3D matrix around us, and we're going to feel more trapped in our life. Or we can begin to operate in a way that tears down those many different walls we've put up. And you choose by feeling into your heart and asking yourself, how do I desire to show up right now? How can I do this different than the old me? And what would that look like? You can do this all by yourself and just journal and decide how you're going to show up, how you're going to respond the next time you're triggered, the next time somebody says something that's hurtful to you, the next time you feel like you're not being appreciated. Like, choose a different way of responding to that. Because our reality is simply a reflection of the decisions that we make, accumulated over time. There are decisions that we made 16.5 years ago that we don't remember, that created something in our reality right now. As we pull away from linear time, we're cycling through a radial perception of our experiences. And so when the astrology allows certain things to cycle back around, you're being given the opportunity to do it different. But if you are stuck in fight or flight, freeze or fawn, and you're not open to a new experience because you're afraid of uncertainty, you're going to hold on to your false perceptions, beliefs, habits, coping mechanisms, because that's how the ego created a plan for you to be safe. The ego is not an enemy. It's what we needed to get to where we are now. But we don't want to make a slave out of our ego. Our ego deserves a break. I'm talking about a total nap out, a total TKO. Pull out the knapsack bag and like, look, ego, you take you a break, get you some rest, do your thing. Here go a knapsack bag for you to rest in. I got this. My I divinity is going to take over today. And I'm going to choose to respond in a way that you will be able to observe and see that it does create safety and it's creating a better experience for us. And this is you shifting to creating a relationship with the different facets of your beingness, which is anchoring yourself in a multi-dimensional reality so that you don't feel trapped and stuck. This will allow for a new form of love to flourish for your own self. And it does take courage, because if you were the people pleaser, if you have the same wounded child archetype as I do, which is the rescuer, when you stop rescuing people from their own hyper-reactive, emotional, dysregulated ways of responding to life and trying to be the Miss Cleanup woman and Mr. Cleanup man and go behind them and trying to fix it and being codependent in a relationship, and you're not allowing them to grow because you're trying to control the way they respond to you so you feel safe, instead of creating boundaries, repercussions, and letting them respond however they want to and not allowing it to change who you are and the way you show up in life. This is the choice that we are being offered. Emotional freedom happens when we practice not taking things personal. that behavior is so unconscious in most of us that you may not know you're doing it when you're doing it. And we can create justifications for becoming the lion that's biting somebody's head off. It's always a reason that you could use to justify reactive behavior that doesn't reflect a higher version of yourself that you are being given an invitation to become. But by agreeing to get rid of the justifications and saying, you know what, it's never okay for me to talk like that to the kids. It's never okay for me to beat up on myself. I'm not going to accept that behavior anymore. And I'm not going to let anyone else do it either, but I'm also going to let everybody else be exactly who they are and protect myself with tools that are not 3D, black and white, good, bad. I'm going to expand my awareness. And I'm going to find new ways to respond because I am a thermostat. I am not a thermometer anymore. The 3D matrix taught us how to be thermometers. And we reflected whatever was happening in our environments. We internalized whatever was happening in our external world. 5-dimensional consciousness is becoming a thermostat. Learning how to set the temperature and set the tone and create sacred space. With practice, you can create such a sacred space that someone could bring their drama and baggage into that space, and they will either calm down and relax a bit. They may begin to actually see themselves for the first time. You know, in that way, just because of how you're responding, is allowing them the opportunity to see their dynamic in anything that's toxic. When you stop matching toxic for toxic energy, if somebody is yelling at you or just being passive aggressive and you're just not allowing yourself to match that energy, it's going to look strange to them. If you don't get in a drama triangle with them and try to rescue them, eventually they will get to see I keep digging this hole and jumping in it and saying that they pushed me in it. You know, like, why are you not upset? Why are you not doing this, doing that? And you can just respond with love and just say, I'm choosing love right now. And if I matched your energy, then I'm giving away my free will to choose love in the moment that may not feel like love, but love is always here. Source energy is always here. We're never detached from that. It's just an illusion that we're detached from that. Even in this moment right now, I love you, I love me, and I'm choosing not to take what's happening personally. And I'm going to continue to make this choice over and over again, no matter how difficult it is, because I have decided to be responsible for how I love, and that is it. So I'm not going to try to control anything else. I mean, mic drop. You know, you could just drop the mic right there. You laid the smack down with love. And you didn't have to go into people pleasing, codependent behavior, rescue behavior. This is the energy that is guiding us right now. And this is the invitation to allow the new me to stay right here in the present moment. And my present moment may be far from perfect, far from what I want it to be, but the way I perceive it, the way I respond, creates the next ripple in the river of what I call my awakening. I want to invite you to the 3D Matrix Detox course and the Inner Child Healing course that you will also get the sacral and solar plexus chakra camps with it for free, along with a free ebook. I add freebies and different things into both of these courses as they come to me. Once it's confirmed that it's effective, necessary, and helpful, I do collective readings and divination, and I add whatever my guides and my divine self is directing me to add from my personal experiences and from tuning into the collective to see what you may be going through. So this is a course that's ever growing. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it at this price, but for now, it's still at this price. So if this was helpful for you, check out the link in the description and join us in creating a tribe of new earthers, writing new verses, scripting their life to live the cipher of the song their soul came to live. It sounds poetic, but as we know, there is power in the arts. We have power in our words, and the more we're able to paint the canvas of our experiences with words that reflect the beauty that we are being initiated into creating, the more we can not only shift ourselves and our reality, but we can become collective thermostats, shifting the paradigm on the planet and beyond. If that's not exciting to you, I don't know what it is, but that's exciting to me. And I share that excitement. I share my passion for life and for love and for helping people. My soul planet is Saturn. So I take so much joy in helping others transcend their suffering, to experience the beautiful spiritual abilities that you have been given in its raw form through your experiences in this thing called life. Charity, love, it clears karmic debt. So the tools are there for you to help you navigate this. I could go on and on and on right now, but I'm not. I'm going to save some of this for the Dream Masterclass coming up, where I will be teaching you how to interpret your dreams, how to interpret your daydreams, how to create crystal grids to support you. And we have a really special 4 Winds smoke blend that we're going to be introducing. It's 420 coming up for those of you who love the herbs of Mama Earth. It don't have to be Mary Jane. It can be any herbs. But we're going to be giving a 30% discount for everybody who purchased a ticket to the event. And we have so many different tools to help you with your dream work, because much of subconscious healing takes place in the dream realm. And the astral dream realm is actually the realm that holds the keys to unlocking our success in this life. So I'm going to put all the links below. Sign up for that. Make sure you get on our email list. Become a member of this site. You automatically get 10% off everything in the store and other freebies. Sign up for our SMS service, because we send out last minute notifications. Sometimes I am being guided to perform ceremonies and meditations for the collective, and because it's last minute, that's how you will get the notification for sure, and you won't miss it. You could also download our Spaces app so that you get notifications that way. Most of the time when I go live anywhere with something I'm being directed to give the collective, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just going to be obedient and do that. So you will get notifications that way. So that's how you can stay in touch with us. Follow us everywhere that we are: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We appreciate you so much. I show up for this so much no matter what's happening in my life, because I really love to be a part of the awakening and the transformations that are happening on this planet. And I appreciate you so much. I show up out of love. I show up out of compassion. And I hope that you continue to show up for yourself and invest in yourself. So if you stay to the end of this, because it was much longer than I expected this intuitive update to be, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We also are accepting donations. The links will be in the description to help us continue to do what we are doing and to expand our tools and expand our community. Patreon holds the vault of everything you cannot know about through this platform right now. So it is the uncensored vault. If you love extraterrestrial information, UFO sightings, Star Tribe information, anything regarding information that's considered to be conspiracy theories, at this point, all of my conspiracy theories have proven to be fact. But, it is what it is. Maybe it's not a theory if they keep being proven to be facts. So all of that is in the vault on Patreon. And I hope that this overview was able to give you an idea of what New Verse Live is. We're still remnants being gathered, but we're learning to write new verses so that we can really be alive. So many of us feel like life is flat at times, and to be alive means to feel everything, to feel it all, and to know how to navigate it in a way that creates more life, not death, and not harm. So I want to thank you. I love you, and I will see you over in the New Verse Tribe, where we are creating the song our soul came to sing for this cipher called life with new verses. May your third eye has just been kissed. Namaste.